My husband, male 42, is currently in Las Vegas for a national bowling tournament. He is there with his mom and her friends/folks from their bowling league. He is an avid bowler, bowls in a Tuesday night league, often in state tournaments and sometimes in national tournaments. Typically, I go with and sometimes bowl myself. This year, we decided I would not go, but stay home with our 3 boys, ages 4, 8, 10, due to heat and smoke in Vegas in July. My husband and I have been married for 11 years. This is his second marriage. His first marriage failed because he walked in on his wife cheating on him with another man. I have never, not once, thought that he would ever be intimate with another woman while he was with me. He's just not that type. So on to this trip. Typically, when he goes on a trip without me, at least one a year, given my job and time off requirements, he stays in a hotel room with his mom or our boys. 3 nights ago, I was on FaceTime with him while he was in his hotel room. It was really nice, and he was talking about possibly taking a nap for lack of sleep. I asked if he had his room to himself, because that would have been awesome, and he said, "Oh no, is sharing with me." I asked him who that was, and he said something, I don't remember, aside from she. I said, "Wait, what?" And then he went on to explain that he was supposed to share the room with his mom's boyfriend, but plans changed, and now he is sharing the room with another woman on the trip. He told me that I played cornhole with her last month at a get-together. I reminded him who I had played cornhole with, him and a girl, but not one with the name he was giving me. I have no idea who this woman is, at which point he got very confused. He did not understand why I was upset or frustrated, so I dropped it because I did not want to deter from his time and his bowling. I know I should have asked how he would have felt if the roles were reversed, but I didn't. Partly because I didn't want to fight. We hardly ever fight while the kids were up, and partly because I didn't want to hear him chalk it up to my imagination. I have hardly slept since that night, and my dreams have been chock full of worst-case scenarios, and still, I have not really brought it up again. There have been a few occasions in which he has talked about taking naps and how lame he is in Vegas. I have mentioned a few times, sort of sarcastically as a side, that he would be having more fun if he were sharing a room with me, or if I was there instead of his present company, but he has brushed it all aside. So here we are. He has spent the last 3 nights in a hotel room with a woman that is not me or his mother. Amita for being upset. Now for the update. I texted him today to tell him that this situation has been bothering me for the last 3 days. I had questions and we needed to have this conversation. I asked who the woman was, how old she was, and why didn't he tell me about the situation before I found out by accident. There was a mix-up with the rooms. Something about someone not going, so people were shuffled. He was paired with a woman about my age. He said he didn't think it would be a big deal and didn't want to inconvenience everyone else on the trip. He also said he did not want to upset me, which is why he didn't right out tell me about it. He did tell me that I never had anything to worry about, and he made sure they weren't in the room alone together, aside from when they were sleeping. I know, but I really do believe him on this. I was honest with him and told him that if roles were reversed, out of respect for him, I would have called him right away to make sure he was okay with it. I told him that while I trust him implicitly, I should not have found out the way that I did, and he should not have blown off my concern. I told him that the lack of upfront communication felt suspicious, regardless of intention or what actually happened. As for not upsetting me, I told him I would have understood and not been upset if he had just been honest. He has apologized profusely. I told him next time to just communicate. He is adamant there will not be a next time. So call me naive if you want, but I am dropping it at this point. He will be home this evening, and I intend on having a nice evening with him before I don't see him again for another 2 weeks. Thank you for the advice. I cried it out when I found out her age, but getting this off my chest has been very relieving. Now for the 1-week update. I am not handling this as well as I thought I was. I had decided to let it go. I know he wasn't doing anything with this other woman. You can disagree and call me crazy if you'd like, but I do know that. However, as much as I have tried, I can't get past the fact that he made the decision to do something he knew I wouldn't be okay with and not tell me about it. It all feels just so messed up. I have talked to a few of my coworkers. I don't have really any friends that aren't friends of his that I talk to on a regular basis. And there is no way I will talk to my family because that is a shoot storm I can't handle right now. And they are all shocked and angrier for me than I have let myself be. Most of them know him, the kind of person he is and what ended his first marriage. He used to work at the same company. We had less than 24 hours together before he, his mom, and all 3 of my children took their trip to the other side of the United States. I have been sitting in my feels and will continue to do so until they get back, almost another week from now. I was on the phone with them this evening before they went to bed, and one of the first things my husband said to me was, "I'm sharing a bed with a red head tonight." And I almost came unglued before I realized he was talking about one of our boys. We have 3 sons. After a very long pause, I said, "You better be talking about," and I was so angry. I don't understand how he didn't pick up on that. Every conversation we have had has been short and to the point because I'm really just not interested in talking to him. I have been calling my oldest son and talking with my boys instead. His mom hasn't really said much to me, which makes me think he has said something to her, which is fine, of course. I really don't care about that. Bottom line is, I don't know what to do. It is midnight at home. I tried to go to bed 2 hours ago and just could not stop sobbing, so I got up and let it go. It felt good to get it out, but I know I need to talk to someone. I have support lines through work I can call, but won't tonight. Far too many drinks, and I don't want to bring that into it as well. But I will call tomorrow. I know I should be upset and angry and not let it go. But I am afraid when I do talk to a professional, they will say I'm blowing it out of proportion. I will still call, but I need to get my head straight first. He is bicycling for 7 days, over 400 miles. So as much as I want to tear him a new one right now, especially after his completely insensitive and clueless joke this evening, I have not, because I want him home safe and sound. Regardless of my feelings in this moment, the most important thing is that my children's dad comes home safe so we can hash this out at least in the same city and not while he is 1,000 miles away with his mom and my children. Now for the update. I am sorry it has been a bit since I have updated. Things have been a lot. I am also sorry this post is very long. My family came home a day early, so I took 2 extra days off of work to see them and figure things out with my husband. After we had unloaded and put everything away, we had dinner and watched a show. After putting the boys to bed, my husband and I went to our room. It was pretty clear he thought he was going to get lucky because he was very confused when I turned the light on. I told him that I had questions and I needed him to answer them. He was hesitant, but agreed. I asked him who this woman is, how old, and is she married? I still don't know who she is, but he did confirm she is younger than me and not married. I then asked who made the decision he would be sharing a room with her. He said that his mom said it would be really great if they shared, so she could spend the 3 nights with her boyfriend, not boyfriend. I asked him why he didn't tell me about it. He said he was just so tired and had had such a long day, he didn't think about it. Conflicting with his earlier, "I didn't want to upset you." He said that he didn't think I would ever question his intentions, so why would he think he would have to tell me? I told him it wasn't about questioning his intentions or fidelity. It's that what they did was completely inappropriate and disrespectful to me and our marriage. And at the absolute very least, he should have sent me a quick text explaining the situation. I also told him that his mom is not always right. He apologized profusely, said he shouldn't have put his mom before me. He didn't think it would be a thing because he would never try to hurt me, and he thought I knew that. All the things, and we honestly talked it out and worked through things for a solid few hours. We came to a really good place and connected for the first time in a long while. Then he went to work the next day, which hurt because I didn't really have the time to be calling in. I am severely behind at work, but I did anyway because I wanted to do the right thing for us and to take care of us. But because he just spent 2 weeks going all over the country doing something super fun, and now he is super behind in his job, he couldn't afford to take any more time off. So that really hurt. But I let it go because he really was behind, and I at least had the boys that I got to catch up with. That day, my mom called to see what we were doing for my birthday, which was 2 days away. I had honestly forgotten about it with everything, so I told her I didn't know and asked if my husband had called her. She said he had not. So I told her I would let her know when we came up with a plan. That night, I asked him if he had a plan, and he said, "Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do?" And that really, really hurt. But I let it go because we have had so much going on. I told him it would be great if we had a barbecue, and he invited people and got the groceries, and he agreed. I specifically asked if he would call my mom. He did get some of the groceries, but not all of them, and he did surprise me with a cake. But that was it. I ended up inviting everyone last minute, having to apologize along the way, and had to go to the store twice to get the rest of the things we needed. At the party, he started showing our friends the pictures from his trip. Pictures I haven't even seen yet. I was so mad, upset, frustrated. He didn't catch on. So then it came time for gifts. His was a card game and a back rub. I felt like I was just slapped in the face. To be clear, I don't place a high value on gifts. If you get me something great, if you don't, that's fine. But he didn't get me anything for Mother's Day, but I got him a whole slew of things for Father's Day for his trip and an Xbox game he wanted. I also planned each of those days by myself, and he just went to the other side of the country, and all he thought to grab for me was a card game. I didn't want to fight in front of our friends, so I let it be. I didn't really expect more than that anyway, but it still hurt. Then I went back to work, and things were meh. Anything he did irritated me. Anything his mom did irritated me. I was getting so frustrated and sad and angry and just not myself. Then I had a medical issue, something that pokes its little head back up every 5 years like clockwork. But I had been ignoring because of everything going on, come back, and I went to our urgent care to take care of it. But I had to take care of all sorts of things first so that me going to the doctor didn't hamper my husband's day. So I was really irritated in the morning. It didn't help that his mom came over, and I just can't handle her right now. It also didn't help that he told me that morning about all the plans he had come up with for our son's birthday in a few weeks. I was mad at myself for being upset. I should be stoked. My husband is thinking about our son and wanting to give him a great birthday party, but I was so deflated and sad and angry in that moment. But he had to go to work, so I left it alone. Before I went, I sent him a text apologizing for being irritated. I told him that I'm not in a good place, mentally or physically, and am really struggling. He asked how he could help, and I responded that I really didn't know. Then I saw the doctor, and he referred me to surgery. This will be the 3rd time I have had surgery for this. I was so frustrated and sad and hurt, I decided to just put it all out there. And since he can't seem to find the time to actually talk to me, I texted him a novel, laying out everything that is on my mind, the trip, my birthday, him not taking time, my son's birthday, all of it. After an hour, he had not responded, so I sent him another text saying that maybe he could just tell me I'm not crazy and we will get through this together, or something like that at least. He responded to that saying that he loves me and has lots to say, but can't say it over the phone. So then I went to work and did the things. I felt a little better. He didn't discredit all of my frustrations, so things were okay. That night, he called to tell me he loved me and was going to take the next day off to spend with me. It was also my day off. I was pretty darn stoked. The next day, I asked him what were the things he wanted to say, and he said he didn't want to say it in front of the kids. So then that night, I asked him again, and he said that we have been having such a great day. He didn't want to ruin it and make me get all emotional, so he wasn't going to say it then. I felt like I had just been punched in the gut. So wait, you have been so nice since I texted you, but now I'm going to be sad and upset? What is going on? It is now the next day, and I just asked him again. He completely blew me off and went to town to pick up our son from camp. I am at a loss. I don't know what to do. I can only ask him to talk to me so many times. He doesn't share his thoughts or emotions often, but I would think he would do it now, right? I don't know what to do. Now for a few important comments. Holy shoot, you're not even an afterthought to this guy. You don't have any importance in his life. You're just there. He'll just tell you stuff to get you off his case and then just keep ignoring you. Then OP replied, "That is definitely how I feel." O responds to multiple comments on seeking a professional counselor to help navigate the next steps and find something to do that helps O feel happy. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for your kind and understanding reply. I have made a few calls with no responses yet, and quite a few say they are not taking new clients. Keeping my fingers crossed though, I do agree. I need an outside perspective other than Reddit. Thank you. I have used our system, but I still have to call. They help narrow it down, but I have to make an appointment. I get 6 free sessions, which is great. I just need someone to call me back. Thank you for the advice. I will try. I did get in 2 chapters of the book I'm reading this week and have taken extra time with my boys. I needed that. I think that woman on the trip was more important than he's letting on. His mother would not be welcome in my house again until she apologizes to my face. No more trips alone for any reason for a very long time. He needs to have consequences, and you're letting him coast. He's trying to wait you out. I don't know why you just keep letting things go and deluding yourself that you're in a good place. Your husband was in a hotel room with a younger woman for days. He gaslit you that it's no big deal and acted like you're the crazy one for thinking it's a problem. In what world are things okay after that? How much of a doormat has he made you that one conversation blows that over? Your mother-in-law set him up to cheat on you. In no world is him sharing a room with a younger single woman appropriate. He knows that. She knows that. If you think he's a good boy, I don't know what kind of blinders you have on or Kool-Aid you're drinking, but stop. He blew off your birthday. He couldn't even muster going to the grocery store, let alone sending some texts. He was away from you for 2 weeks and couldn't even bring you some postcards from along the way. My son was on a school trip for 4 days. He brought me all kinds of little things because he was in a gas station and saw this pretty postcard I would like. Or at this gift shop and thought that keychain was something I would like. So, your husband is less considerate than a teenager on a school trip with all his teenage buddies. He gives you nonsense after nonsense and just pretends things are fine. You lay it all out there via text, and again, he blows you off. Gives you some love bombing in the form of family time and expects to sweep it under the rug. He's hoping to wait you out before you find out what he actually did in that hotel room, or how many times he's met that woman before, or just to make sure he can feed you nonsense after betraying your marriage with his mom's help, and you'll just ignore it. At some point, you have to acknowledge you have a shitty husband and a very unhealthy marriage. How many ways does he have to show you you're not a priority? He doesn't respect you, and he could not care less about your feelings before you believe him. Am I the idiot for calling out my company's tone-deaf year-end party plans? So the company I work for is doing our annual year-end party planning, and this year is the first year they have decided to do a culture-themed party. We're a large company, and our boss likes to go all out. So the planning committee is trying hard to make this a big event centered around humor. Our staff is predominantly white, like 95%, so I don't think they quite understand the repercussions of having Asian-based humor. Anyways, I have a few questions that I feel should be raised. 1, they want to do Gangnam Style on stage and have our Filipino workers do the singing and dancing. What are your thoughts? 2, being that our staff is predominantly white, that means a lot of white people dressing up in Japanese, Chinese, Korean, etc. attire. Can this be done tastefully? 3, every year-end party, we have a video with new employee introductions, and they always try to make it funny. This year, they want to do it like a martial arts movie, where they dub over the voices of the new employees. What are your thoughts? 4, lastly, and this is the one that concerns me, the planner for the program wants one of our funnier white employees to dress up as Confucius and they will speak Chinglish, his words, to each other in the hopes that it will be funny. This was offensive to me, and I told him he shouldn't proceed, but he disagrees. What are your thoughts? As a white person, I just want to make sure that the company is proceeding with caution and they consider their actions before marginalizing individuals unintentionally. Do you have any ideas as to how we can have a tasteful celebration of Asian culture? Money isn't really an issue, so any and all ideas are welcome. Clarifications from OP. To clarify, the reason I'm bringing this up is because personally I could see this whole thing being offensive, and as an employee of this company, I would rather they just scrap the idea and went a different route. I just want to hear what your thoughts on the matter are. We don't have an HR department. Now for a few important comments. No, there is no tasteful way to do this. Where the hell do you work, where people think this is okay? Awesome. Definitely do exactly what's planned, then upload a video of it so the public can ridicule and berate your company. I think there's a fine line between a cultural party and a parody party. Yours so far sounds like a parody party. Here are some ways I think you could change it to a more respectful theme. Don't do Asian theme. Choose a specific country, Korean themed perhaps. Most importantly, in every way that you represent Korean culture, try to be authentic. People can dress in Korean sensibilities, but only elements that have actually existed in Korean culture and in good contexts. So no chopsticks in the hair, but something like hanbok. If money's not an issue, maybe the company can buy these as party favors, since most people won't have it at home. Dancing Gangnam Style is fine, but it should not be forced upon the Filipino workers. That is so wrong. Confucius is also fine. Koreans were Confucian too, but no Asian accent. It's derogatory. You can recite his proverbs or something. But then Confucius wouldn't be funny, so I think you can go with something else, like dressing as Psy and having him lead the Gangnam Style dance. You can base the employee video thing on an actual Korean film, or set it in a specific Korean time period if you want. Koreans have martial arts films, but doing a non-specific martial arts theme means you're going to cherry-pick sexy Asian themes and pull together random ideas that you think are cool. That's called cultural appropriation. Parodying an actual time period or film allows you to have sensible elements in a funny context. Basically, I think you need a point of reference for all of the ideas so that you are more aware of what Asian elements actually work together. Having a bunch of people dressed as geishas and Bruce Lee is offensive, but if they're all dressed in homage to an actual historical context, it's more tasteful. I love event planning, and I studied racial sociology in college. Let me know if you have any specific questions. I'm open to PMs. Now for the update from OP. I'll provide a little background first. Our large company is not a franchise, but is a locally owned and operated multi-million-dollar company that consists of 100 to 200 employees. The planning committee, which consists of 3 to 4 people, plans the event every year and gets given an unlimited budget with the purpose of making the event a surprise for the rest of the staff. However, the committee does not involve the boss of the company, who is both the CEO and I guess what you would consider HR, as he does the hiring and firing. There's no real HR department, though. Nobody ever gets to hear what the theme is because they keep it very tight-lipped, so the party remains a surprise. Being that I work in the marketing department, our staff sometimes get commissioned to help with various tasks regarding our year-end party. Today, I happened to overhear some of the plans as our department was approached by the main event planner. I was appalled to hear that his plans included the things mentioned above and felt like I needed to voice my opinion since the party theme was kept such a secret. I mean, if I wouldn't have said anything, nobody else would have had the chance to voice their concerns ahead of time, and the event would have gone ahead without any opposition. When I approached a member of the event planning committee this afternoon with my concerns, he basically dismissed most of my concerns as an overreaction and felt that we could move ahead as planned. I disagreed and asked if they even considered asking an Asian person what they thought about our plans, to which he replied, no. I told him that I have a lot of Asian friends who felt strongly that the ignorance being shown by our company was going to be bad for Asians our employees, and our company. After being shut down again by him, I decided that I would bring it to the main event planner, and if he disagreed, I would take it to the CEO. After speaking to the main event planner, I came to learn that he honestly thought that what he was doing was okay. This is the kind of person that never intends to hurt anyone intentionally. Anyways, when I raised the concerns I had coupled with the responses found here, he was basically in tears. Tears to the point of almost throwing up. He honestly never meant to hurt anyone and was sick to his stomach that he was being discriminatory when he never meant it to be. Right then and there, he scrapped the idea because he doesn't want to be tied to discriminatory ideals or have the company dragged down because of his ignorance. I guess there are still people out there who are honestly so ignorant to their own actions that they feel they're doing the right thing. This whole thing was sad but necessary. Final responses. Thank you so much for pressing your point of view and getting this shut down. The ideas being floated were so outrageous, I thought at first your post must be trolling. Good to know he recognized what was wrong about it. A lot of things are born of ignorance or blindness, even in fundamentally good people. Like you said, sad it had to happen, but at least everything seemed to turn out all right between everyone. Thanks for stepping up and risking drama and confrontation to do the right thing. Final edit from OP. Last edit. The company I work for is really, really great, so please just know that I came to learn that it was the actions of 3 to 4 individuals and does not represent the company as a whole. Post. My wife and I have been married for 15 years. Recently, I've noticed she's been acting distant. She spends a lot of time on her phone, and when I ask her about it, she gets defensive. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I'm worried something might be going on. What should I do? Now for a few comments. A commenter said, "Have you tried talking to her about how you feel?" Then OP replied, "I have, but she just brushes it off and says everything is fine." Another commenter suggested, "Maybe try planning a date night to reconnect." Then OP responded, "That's a good idea. I'll give it a try." Now for an update after 1 month, OP posted, "We had a date night and it went well. She opened up a bit and mentioned she's been stressed with work. We're going to work on communicating better. Thank you all for the advice." Am I the idiot for wanting to rip up my parents' new floor because I found a human jaw in it? My parents just got their home renovated with travertine stone. This looks like a section of mandible. Could it be a hominid? Is it usual? What very much looks like part of a human jawbone, including teeth. Now for some relevant comments. Dentist with forensic odontology training here. This is a hominid mandible, almost certainly human. While all old-world monkeys, apes, and hominids share the same dental formula, 2-1-2-3, and the individual molars and premolars can look similar. The specific spacing in the mandible itself is very specifically and characteristically human, or at least related and very recent hominid relative ancestor. Most likely human, given the success of the proliferation of H's and the relatively rapid formation of travertine. Against modern Homo sapiens, which may not be entirely relevant, the morphology of the mandible is likely not Northern European, but more similar to African, Middle Eastern, mainland Asian. I am a dentist, also myself, and I look at CBCTs all day long, which may be why I immediately noticed it. I fully agree with you. Commenter, OP, do your parents have any uninstalled extra tiles? You might want to look through them in the off chance you have another slice of the fossil. I checked everywhere, but I could not find any other slice with this fossil. This might be the most interesting post on Reddit I have ever seen. I was quite sure it was human when I saw it, but did not know how to get in contact with the right persons. Because of the visibility of this post, I am now in contact with a paleoanthropology team. They seem happy to have found a fossil on Reddit. We'll update soon. Now for a mini update in the comments. Thank you all for your answers. I tried to edit the post to give you all an update, but I cannot. If anyone can help, please DM. Here are the answers to most asked questions. 1. I don't think it is Jimmy Hoffa. 2. The quarry seems to be located in Turkey. Initially thought it was Spain. 3. Yes, it is natural travertine. 4. In the last 24 hours, we have been reached by several researchers, and we are currently discussing how we can get them involved. 5. We are located in Europe. 6. Banana for scale, see attached picture. 7. It is located in the corridor leading to the terrace, door frame on the picture. Now for the full update. I looked at the other tiles and I have a few suspicious artifacts. Could this be a slice of femoral head? I am a dentist, and this is out of my field of expertise. Here are the answers to most asked questions of last post. 1. I don't think it is Jimmy Hoffa 2. The quarry seems to be located in Turkey. Initially thought it was Spain. 3. Yes, it is natural travertine. 4. In the last 24 hours, we have been reached by several researchers and we are currently discussing how we can get them involved. 5. We are located in Europe. 6. The first tile was in a corridor. Less obvious, but there is a similar indent in this tile along with a longer shaped indent. Now, for some relevant comments. Commenter. I am so desperate to know if it's possible for the supplier to trace these stones to a location as well as possibly sold pieces. I hope all the info will eventually be available to see as well. I can't stop refreshing, even though I know there's no chance anything of substance has come up. It should be possible. I will update when I know more. Yeah, OP, what are you going to do about the floor? If it wasn't so cool, I'd be pretty annoyed that the contractors installed tiles that have flaws in them. The bones imprints would be impossible to clean. Dirt would build up in the holes. Are you going to replace all the tiles? Only the ones that obviously have people in them and hope the other ones don't? Are you going to make contractors come back and redo it? They chose second choice travertine, which means with more flaws than first choice, so it would be cheaper and less slippery. Now for some comments on a cross post. Commenter. Well, we have a few comments here, but I just wanted to ask how excited you and your family was to realize just what you had. And how long had they had this tile before you came along and pointed out that it was a fossil mandible? Thank you. We are excited but also worried as the house was finished a few months ago and these tiles are everywhere. Yesterday was the first time I came to the newly renovated house. I immediately found out something was odd with this tile. Nobody really noticed before. Now for the update. Quick summary. Last Friday, I went to my parents' house and found a fossil of mandible embedded in a travertine tile. Male 12, thick. The Reddit post got such a great audience that I have been contacted by several teams of world-class paleoarchaeologists from all over the world. Now, there's no doubt we are looking at a hominin mandible. This is not Jimmy Hoffa, but we need to remove the tile and send it for analysis, DNA testing, micro-CT, and much more. It is so extraordinary, and removing a tile is not something the paleoarchaeologists do on a daily basis. So the biggest question we have is, how should we do it? How would you proceed to unseal the tile without breaking it? It has been cemented with C2E class cement. Thank you. Someone with a paintbrush carefully studying the mandible. Now for some relevant comments. Obviously, you would prefer not damaging the other tiles, but would it not be better to find another tile to test your methods on? From a quick Google search, it also seems to say the first tile is the hardest one to remove without damage. So you may have to start with removing one of the surrounding tiles to make it easier, less risky when removing the mandible tile. Very nice advice. This is what we are looking for. I'd ask the esteemed paleoarchaeologists to fund a professional to remove the tile. If it's as important as they think, I probably wouldn't leave the process to an untrained individual. Tiles are really hard to remove intact once they've been set. If I absolutely had to DIY this, I would probably go for an angle grinder with a diamond blade and prepare for everything to be covered with dust for the next 1,000 years. Plus, someone's going to have to replace that tile for your parents, so you'll probably be calling a tile guy anyway. Problem is that basically they told us to find a contractor, but how are we supposed to know he will find the best option? You said you've been contacted by teams all over the world. You can always contact the next one down the list. I have to imagine that some of these teams are spending a lot more to get a lot less on a fairly regular basis. Uncementing a travertine tile out of a kitchen seems to be an uncommon issue for paleoanthropologists. No offense. Absolutely. But they can find the right person as easily as anyone else. I wouldn't want to be putting in all this time for them if someone else is actually willing to do the legwork. Someone will come and propose a technique. Just after 100 answers to this post, I know better which questions to ask. Oscillating multi-tool with a masonry bit would be able to remove a significant amount of the mortar around the edges. Then loop a wire saw around the outside and saw the rest out. OP. Now we talking. Seriously, require a certificate of insurance, make them source the contractor, or no deal. Good deeds often go punished. Don't get too caught up in the excitement and protect your family and property. I am all ears. There is no rush. That tile is not going anywhere until we are sure how to do it properly. Now for a mini update in the comments. Any update on this, OP? Did you get it out safely? Did it turn out to just be a boot print, or did you crack it? Haha, we did not do anything yet. The paleoarchaeologists we spoke with should come back to us with their options this week. As I now have a Reddit degree in tile removal, I will be able to understand what is at stake. Next time I will be more careful choosing a Reddit username. I did not expect this one to be all over the news. Now for a comment reply. Commenter, OP. They showed this in my class yesterday. It was super fun to say I saw it before everyone, haha. Aha, this picture is everywhere. Very good summary. From asking Reddit to spending 2 hours in a Zoom call with a team of scientists discussing hominin fossils. I did not imagine that career path 2 weeks ago. Commenter, it's pretty cool to have a photo credit in Nat Geo. I'd put it on my resume, haha. Oh, I definitely will. Now for a mini update in the comments. The tile is out and safe. It is currently studied, but it takes time to get results. I will update if people are interested. Hi everyone, I guess it's time for a first update regarding this fossil. First, I want to thank everyone who responded to the previous posts, as your input helped us connect with the right people. You played a significant role in the success of this story. After the Reddit post, which reached a phenomenal audience, we received numerous responses from around the world. It quickly became clear that the fossil resembled a hominin, ancient human, and had scientific value that warranted further study. We decided to proceed with a team of renowned archaeopaleontologists. It took a few weeks to determine the best way to remove the tile without risking damage to the fossil. A few weeks ago, a team of researchers achieved a first, excavating a hominin fossil from the floor of a modern house. The process took nearly 12 hours, but thanks to their patience and professionalism, they were able to extract it without causing any damage. For our friends, here's how they proceeded. After carefully inspecting the tile, they cut out the relevant section with a disc. They then removed the other parts of the tile and carefully carved out the cement using a manual wire saw. The tile is now in the lab, where researchers are studying the fossil and the travertine to determine its age, origin, and which hominin it belongs to. Of course, they also examined the other travertine tiles in the house, around 800 of them, and found several other potentially interesting ones. I've attached pictures for reference. Let me know if you'd like more updates. Now for some relevant comments. Commenter, yes, keep us updated. Did you literally find more bones and jawbones in your house? Can I buy your house right now? Aha, more bones? Yes, see picture attached. Unfortunately, not other jawbones. Probably a metatarsal bone, but hard to say if hominin. Are the scientists able to contact the tile people and find out where this was quarried? Also, what's going to happen to the holes in your floor? Will you replace with another travertine tile or maybe something to commemorate the old time, like maybe a cast concrete faux fossil? They are in contact with the tile people. The missing tile has immediately been replaced, but the commemorative cast is a good idea. I didn't realize the tile itself was so thin. That makes this even more amazing. Male 1.2c. One last thought from OP. I agree, there might be fossils everywhere. We should organize a fossil day and get everyone to check their floor. Even though it is only male 12, thick, the CT scan is crazy. I will share it when I am allowed to.